What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mcfarlane Toys Mortal Kombat series, Scorpion. And so here we have Scorpion posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Scorpion does come with two swords. He comes with a katana, which is the longer blade, and then he comes with a wakizashi, which is the smaller blade. Both fit in his hands really well, and they do fit inside the scabbard, which is really nice. He also does come with his spear, which is iconic for Scorpion, and I really do like that. His final accessory is, of course, the Mortal Kombat display stand. But other than that, Scorpion here doesn't come with anything else. I kind of would have liked to see some alternate hands with these guys, but unfortunately we didn't get any. So what we're going to do now is actually have a closer look at Scorpion. And so here we have a closer look at Scorpion, and again Mcfarlane has done a phenomenal job here. Now this is actually something I really wasn't looking forward to picking up, because I didn't intend to pick up the Mcfarlane Mortal Kombat figures, but having him in hand, Scorpion here is an absolutely beautiful, detailed figure. Now, he does have some shortcomings when it comes to articulation, which we will get into that when we have a look at his articulation, but in terms of details, he's a really impressive figure. Now, I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to Mortal Kombat ninjas. I prefer their MK3 look. That's my preferred look, but over the years I do like some of the designs, and Scorpion here has a really good design. Really love the gold face mask that he has on him right now. Of course he needs the whited out eyes, because that is Scorpion's signature. You can see he does have a yellow headband right there, which is painted really well. And he is wearing what you would expect to be a traditional ninja hood. I do like the way it comes down over his head. Now, I have taken his head apart, and I am a little disappointed that his head technically is just a faceplate. There's a ball peg coming from the neck up, and it kind of goes into like a wide joint with ball joints where it goes into the back of the hood and then into the front of the mask. So he basically has a face, and that's it. Most of the hood is just empty space, but it still looks really good. I really do like his shoulder pads right here. You can see all the little details in it, all the buckles, the straps, even the metal clasp right here is painted really well. Really do like the paintwork on it. It's done in a, looks like a marbleized gray plastic, but there's somewhat of a metallic sheen to it. It might just be under my lights. Again, you can see how those buckles are really nicely detailed, especially right here in the back. We do have some tassels, so that's really good. On the back, they actually sculpted the texture of his robes right here, which I really do like that. Really loving the texture work that went into Scorpion. On his arms, you can see he does have yellow armbands with some metal plating right here, which again looks really good. I do feel like the metal plating is off. It should be more in line with his wrist right here, but it's still okay. It's just the design of the figure, and it's based off the design of the game, so I really can't fault the figure too much on that. Something I wasn't a fan of was the red in his costume, but seeing it in this figure, it's actually growing on me. I do like the reds and the yellows. Now, one thing I wish that this figure did have was this red tassel and yellow tassel were two separate pieces, because as it stands, they're just one solid piece, and that's a really thick piece of rubber right there, so that is a little unfortunate. His tassels right here on the side do look really good, and then on the back, the robe is done really well. Scabbards are removable, but for the sake of the review, I'll just keep them in for right now. His pants, this is the traditional ninja baggy pants that you think of every time you see a ninja, so really do like those baggy pants. You can see he does have some leg wraps underneath that, and they are yellow, followed by some really, they do look like samurai greaves, as you can see. They're plated, and they do have some rivets right here. He has it in the back and the front. So really loving that. And then we go on to his traditional tabby socks. So overall, Scorpion here has a lot of detail, which I really do like that. So with his detail out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Scorpion posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Scorpion posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Scorpion posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have Scorpion posed next to a Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 2 Scorpion and a Mcfarlane Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Now, as I already stated, he technically doesn't have a head. It's basically a ball joint going into a T, and that T holds his face and the hood together. Moving those together, we do get left and right movement, some up and down. As you can see, I can move his face up. He's not looking up, his face is just going up. If you look in there, you can't really see it on camera, but that's just a joint going into the top of his face. In fact, you can actually turn his face. That's a little odd. See, his face is on a ball joint, so that's really weird. We do get some slight tilt at the neck, but not too much because of his shoulder pads. His head does turn left and right, and of course you can lift that face up, so you can get a little more range out of that. His arms are on butterfly joints. They do go forward and back, but they're not the best because this isn't cut out enough, and then his robes are kind of thick, so that's really limiting the butterfly joint. So that's something Mcfarlane needs to work on. If they're going to do overlays like that, that needs to be really soft. But his arm is on a ball joint, so it's a ball joint going into a socket, so we can move it up and down, which works okay. Moves back and forth a little bit. Does go out to the side all the way. It can do a full 360, but it does get blocked by his armor. Same thing going the other way, so do be aware of that. We do have a bicep swivel, which works no problem. Double bend in the elbows, giving us better than 90 degrees, so I do like that. A ball hinge style wrist, which does allow for up and down movement. We can turn that joint to go in and out. And then of course we do get rotation at the wrist. Just like with Sub-Zero, Scorpion here does have a ball joint in the upper torso. Unfortunately, you cannot get to it because of how thick his robes are, and that's one thing I think Mcfarlane needs to really work on, is if you're going to do overlays like this, it needs to be really soft plastic, because then that articulation cut is worthless. He does have a ball joint in the torso, which does go back about that far. Just be aware that it does break up the sculpt quite a bit. No forward movement, but we do get rotation. Some slight side-to-side pivot, so mainly going to be doing back movement and rotation, nothing too extreme. Legs do kick forward to about there, and they do get hindered by his garb right here. They go back all the way, surprisingly, and that's because this is a lighter plastic. They do go all the way out. As you can see, no problems there. On this leg, of course, you're going to run into the problem of the scabbard, so do be cautious of that. We do not have a thigh swivel on Scorpion, but we do have rotation down here at the knee, and you can hear it's really stiff. I guess we do have a little bit of rotation at the hip right here, so that's pretty good. Let me see on this leg. Yep, we do have some slight hip rotation. Double bend in the knee, as well as some rotation, so that's pretty good articulation there. We do have a ball hinge at the ankle, so it does go back and forward. It does rotate. We do get some pivot, and you can rotate it, and we can get some really good range out of that ankle, so that's pretty good. And then finally, toe joint, and a very generous one at that. So overall, really do like Scorpion here. It's a really nice figure. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Mcfarlane Mortal Kombat Scorpion posed for my final thoughts. Overall, there's a lot of good things to like about this figure. The detailing is really good. The accessories are acceptable. I would have liked an alternate set of hands, maybe a pair of fists, because he is from a fighting game, and you kind of need fists if you're going to be in a fighting game. But overall, like I said, there's some things to like about this figure, such as the detail. Accessories are pretty good for the most part, and articulation is pretty good. However, there are some things to note that because of the detailing on this figure, it does hinder a lot of the articulation. This is a really good step forward for Mcfarlane. If he's going to be making articulated figures, this is a really nice example of what to do, but at the same time it's an example of what not to do. Moving forward, I would like to see them use softer materials for overlays, because that's a really stiff torso and it does make the articulation kind of useless. If you're going to have cuts like that, either make the sculpt work match the articulation or make it out of softer materials like Storm Collectibles. But overall, Scorpion here is a really nice addition to my collection. I'm really glad I decided to pick up him and Sub-Zero. If you are looking for the Mcfarlane Mortal Kombat figures, they are starting to hit stores right now, such as Thinky, GameStop, and your local comic book stores. I actually picked up Scorpion and Sub-Zero from GameStop, so if you are looking for them, go ahead and check your local GameStops or wherever you pick up specialty figures. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other Mortal Kombat videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.